This title is narrated with virtual voice, computer-generated narration for audiobooks. Grateful Dead Tour Tales by George Michaels. Chapter 1. 1984. 6 Tripping Kids. June 24, 1984. SPAC, Saratoga, New York, SUN. Hi, I'm George, a shy young-looking 18-year-old growing up in Northvale, New Jersey, a small suburban town located 15 miles north of the George Washington Bridge. It's the early 1980s, and I live with my parents and 2 younger brothers. We have a spacious 4-bedroom tri-level featuring a full-sized built-in swimming pool with a diving board and slide. That's the envy of the neighborhood come summertime. I stand about 6 feet tall with a modest build, fair Irish-German skin, and a thick brown-haired mullet that I spike up to stay in style. Some girls have told me I remind them of Steven Tyler, but I don't necessarily see it. I own parachute pants, white Capezio shoes, and many trendy sleeveless shirts. And although raised on the Beatles, Kiss, Stones, Doors, Rush, Southern, Progressive, and even some acid rock, I find myself captivated by music television these days and the new videos popping up daily. I'm buying new albums from new groups weekly, and my friends and I are regulars at some of the hottest clubs in Manhattan with names like the Peppermint Lounge, Danceteria, and Starbucks, where we get down to new wave, drink strong cocktails, and innocently party with the drug of the day until eventually arriving home just before light. MTV's overwhelming popularity has cast an enormous shadow on the grassy fields of Woodstock and the free love generation, to the point where those days seem unobtainable, unlikely ever to return. Well, those were my happening days of senior year, class of 1983. Everything changes when I leave for Lynchburg College in Virginia at summer's end. I make friends there, but feel out of place with all the preppies and their plaid clothes dominating the scene. I don't do well either, ending my first semester still a virgin, on academic probation. When I return to Jersey for Christmas break, everything snaps back to how it was before, and I'm happy once again. After the extended holiday, I vowed to concentrate and get better grades. It wasn't easy, but I'd had a 3.0 grade point average going into the final stretch. That's when my literature professor asked everyone in the class to return their spring break book report on Black Boy because of a grading error she'd made weeks prior. Thinking I have an opportunity to turn my B into an A, I go for the bait and proudly hand my report back to her. She's such a lovely lady and seems to favor me. What's the worst thing that can happen? I'm expelled by the end of the week. It was a whole fucking thing. The bottom line is that I was lazy during spring break on my lame trip to Atlanta with my roommate Ray to see his parents' new house, where I never read the book. I looked at the cliff notes when I came back and allegedly lifted a line or 3. I would have gotten away with it too, if not for some other student who handed his paper in weeks after me with the entire page plagiarized. I went to academic court with nothing more than 2 character witnesses, and one of them was my dad. They threw the book at me, allowing me to come back after a year, but that seemed like forever to me at the time. When I arrive home in mid-May of '84, I feel surprisingly good about myself, despite my scholastic tragedy, a significant factor being my acne, or lack thereof. The pimples that plagued my appearance for years miraculously cleared up after taking an experimental drug called Accutane during my second semester. The medication truly helped me out of my shell, enabling me to view the world from a far more positive perspective. Another thing playing a role has to be my new marijuana habit. Doctors told me not to drink alcohol while taking Accutane, so after months of sexless sobriety, I needed a release. I just couldn't handle being straight, surrounded by a completely drunken and sexually active student body anymore. A couple of guys from Cherry Hill, New Jersey, named Ron and Bill, and another dude named Fuzzy from Connecticut got me into it. While in high school, I rarely smoked because it made me paranoid. It seemed to make my buddies happy, so I remained curious about it. Away at school, I had nothing to be worried about in terms of being caught by my parents, so it worked. It took the
To keep listening to this audiobook for free, click the link in the description. It will take you to a free Audible trial where you can listen to this and many other books for free for 30 days.